Good morning and happy Wednesday. How are you guys? Hey, that actually went somewhat smoothly. Yes! Yay! If I sound a little funny, it's because she's around here somewhere. My family has found a stray kitten, and it seems a tad allergic. So it's fine. Everything's fine. But it's Wednesday and we're here. It's our Nerdling Monday. And we got a lot of fun stuff packed in. We have to talk about Heather Antos's antics. I mean, come on, honey. You're going to try and take down John Byrne. How'd that go for you? So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what's going on this week. We're going to check in on some headlines. I'm probably going to do that a couple more times. I have some announcements. I got a couple announcements that we're going to cover in the world of, the channel and Veiled Legacy, the Veiled Legacy universe. So, very excited about that. Are you? Are you feeling the excitement? I'm feeling the excitement. I'm feeling very excited. You should be feeling very excited too. I'm just saying. Hold on, I got an itch. I'm just getting down, man. Anyway, it is that time. It's that time, my babies. It's that time where we start. It's gonna do that loud thing, isn't it? Is it? No. It might. Did it? No. It just disappeared. I'm telling you, StreamYard, get it together. Like, they ask me all the time, I would like to hear your opinion. I don't think you do. I don't think you do want to hear my opinion. But it's time to scream good morning. And everyone. It is. So, you know what that means. I guess.
Check in with the chat. See where the nerdlings are. Hot take, super chat. Let's see what everybody's saying. Check in with the chat. Check in with the chat.
Check in with the chat. That was not my singing voice. Good morning, Ensign Deranged Lunatic. How are you, my good friend? Deranged Lunatic has agreed to be one of my esteemed words are hard. Okay. Don't let anyone fool you. But he is agreed to be one of my esteemed beta readers. Beta readers are basically focus groups for authors, for writers. So what we do, this is miserable. I'm so sorry. It's like all right here in here. What we do is we take a draft of a story or a book that we are about to publish, and we send it for free to I don't know, however many beta readers you have, however large your focus group is. They read it and they tell you what they think. If they liked it, if they didn't like it, what stood out, what didn't stand out. If they got bored, if they were riveted. So again, it's just like a focus group, a test audience. So very excited. DL. You know what? No, we're going to save that for announcements, but very excited to have one of my very own Nerdling Army as a beta reader. I mean, no pressure. No pressure. Good morning, Lieutenant Backyard TARDIS. All California just had a 5.6 earthquake in the land of murder, she wrote. No way. You know, I did not check in with any news this morning. Like, none. And I don't watch, I mean, honestly, I haven't watched live TV, like actual broadcast television, years. But I do kind of check in with the news a little bit. But I didn't today. So all of my prayers and love to everyone in Northern California. That's terrible. I mean, Mendocino, man, those people have been through absolute trials and tribulations. They've been through hell in the last couple of years. That's just terrible to hear. I'm so sorry. I'll have to check in with a few people that I know live kind of around that area. Oh my goodness. This is the cutest little kitten, though. I'm telling you, this cat is so cute. But anyway, that's terrible news. I'm so sorry. I'm so very sorry. And basically on stream days, especially on Wednesdays, while I'm getting ready, I like to focus my media intake on whatever I'm discussing. So I missed out on that information. Very sorry to hear that. Oh, it's just awful. It's just awful. I'm so sad to hear. Okay. Those were our only members for the moment. I feel like, do we think, wait, I feel like also, hold on, there's crap. There's a hair tie and some papers. And this deck of cards called a writer emergency kit that the beloved Caro has sent me. There we go. This is better. I need like a thing to prop my arms on. I need a throne, like a legit throne. What can I say? Anyway, because I have to prop my arms up to think, got to put my elbow on my knee here. Do we feel we need like a special little 10-second or so bumper for the Nerdling Army? Do we need just like a little sting for the Nerdling Army? We might, like a soundbite, something. I feel like the Nerdling Army needs like a legit flag or an anthem, something. You guys need something. Okay. Good morning, Omari. How are you, my friend? Always good to see you in the chat. Hail, Lord Toth. Oh, I'm always so happy to see you. I'm so glad you're here. Mama Petty, your granddaughter got you sick again? It's our new kitty cat. And so if you ask my son what the cat's name is, the kitten, Kessler will tell you that her name is Carl's Jr. Hardy's. If you ask Dave what the kitty's name is, she will say, or he will say, Betty. Now, I don't know if he remembers this, but he obviously remembers that he had a kitten before, but I don't know if he remembers. So sorry, I couldn't reach the mute. When he had that kitten and was thinking of names for her, I had suggested Betty. And he said, no, I'm going to go with Dottie. I said, okay, Dottie. Dottie's cute because, big Pee-wee Herman fans. Unfortunately, she passed. It's a whole thing. That was a couple years ago. But he said he wants to call this one Betty. And I'm just going, that was my idea. I want my clout. So, yeah, Betty has done this to me, and poor Amelia is far more allergic than I had no idea I was allergic to cats. I just noticed that the last couple of days I've been feeling like this, and I realized, okay, what's new? What's changed? I'm very sorry you're not feeling well, and I'm sorry it's the grandbaby, because I know you just want to love on her, give her all the smooches and hugs and cuddles, and she got you sticky. I'm so sorry. Good morning, Carl Peachy. Angry Joe has been hitting the sauce again. What? Who? James Gunn shills are already shoving Supergirl under the rug and acting like it doesn't matter. We're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about this because they are struggling. They are struggling. I have not heard good things. And I don't get screeners. I mean, okay, that's not entirely true. I don't get film screeners. I get NBC primetime screeners. I mean, like game shows and Real Housewives stuff that's not exactly in my wheelhouse, but the wonderful, wonderful creators, showrunners, writers of the phenomenal series Revival on Sci-Fi that apparently did not get renewed, and I cry over that. They're the ones who got me, that access, but for some reason I don't get film screeners, but I guess that's okay because I'd have to drive like an hour and a half to do it, and you know how Dave is. So so I have not seen it. Long story even longer. I have not seen it yet. But every single friend of mine in this space that I trust, and you guys know that I am non-denominational. I do not discriminate. I have friends on all sides of the sphere, either sides of the aisle, whatever you want to call it. I have friends all over. Every single one of them are saying the same thing, and we're going to talk about that. So that's never good. That's never a good sign. Never a good sign. Good morning, Cosmortal Comics. Oh, I'm always so glad to see you. Always so glad. Good morning, Maria. Good morning. Rather be a shill than constantly complaining hater Supergirl is going to be a success. All right, well, let's break that down. Let's break down that comment. A shill, as far as I know, and just to say, you guys know I'm not a fan of buzzwords. I feel they get overused and then they get parroted and used as, excuses for lack of your own opinion or forming your own thoughts, coming to your own conclusions. So, I'm not a huge fan of buzzwords, but sometimes, You kind of have to, you don't have the option. But as far as I am aware, a shill is one who has been paid by the company, by the studio, by the network, the person who made the film, the property, to review the property as they have dictated. So let's say in this situation, a shill would be someone who is paid by Warner Brothers / DC Studios to say Supergirl is amazing. Someone who is paid by DCU to review Supergirl positively. And then you have the hater complaining. To me, a hater, I call them occupationally outraged or professionally outraged. They have found their niche, they have found their algorithm, and they just hammer into it. These are the people that everything is terrible. They don't like anything. And they're very far and few between these days. You don't find many of them anymore. And to me, there's no difference between the two because both are fake. Neither one of them are giving you their true, authentic opinions. The shill is paid. His opinion, her opinion, their opinion is transient. It is fickle and it changes depending on who is paying them and what they're paying them for, how they are paying them to do it. So you don't really know where you stand with the shill. Their character, their character is for sale. To me, that is a prostitute. When your character is up for sale to the highest bidder, whether it's cash money, access, PR boxes, that is prostitution. Plain and simple. And that is not a person who should be reviewing a film or being given critic access or considered a critic by any means whatsoever. That is not a journalist. That is an entertainer. That is an actor. Those are influencers. They are actors. I find that behavior abhorrent. It's a lie. It's a lie. It's a facade. There's nothing true about it. And they die on that hill, at least come out and just admit, yeah, I'm an actor. I'm an entertainer. This is my job. I get paid to do this. I mean, even Grace Randolph has basically admitted that. So I would absolutely not, be on board with that. At least with the hater, you know where you stand. They're not doing it because someone's paying them for their opinion necessarily. A studio hasn't slipped them a PR box or given them some, behind the scenes access where they got to shake Pedro Pascal's hand or something like that. No. They're doing it because they discovered that their algorithm gets them views and it improves their watch hours, and their watch hours pay their bills and they can feed their families and stuff, that way. So at least with the hater channel, whatever, if they are monetized, that's a big if, because not a whole lot of YouTube channels are fully monetized, and even if they are, not a whole lot of them are capable of paying their bills. I am not capable of paying my bills with my YouTube channel. So at least with the hater, you know where you stand. You know, across the board, they're going to hate it. They hate everything. And with the shill, I mean, that's going to fluctuate. It really is going to depend on who is paying them for what, when, and what script they have handed them to read. So I see them both as liars. They're not giving you their true opinion on what they have seen and experienced. And I see shills as prostitutes. To recap, I see them as prostitutes because their character is for sale to the highest bidder. So, you cannot pay me enough. I was raised too much by a woman who was a literal human lie detector. I got caught in every single lie I attempted growing up. So, doesn't work. It doesn't work. I'm bad at it. All right. Hey, thank you so much, Deranged Lunatic, Ensign Deranged Lunatic, for gifting a comics and membership. Someone out there has just joined the Nerdling Army. And with that, I was going to save it for announcements. And you know what? I'll save the rest of it for announcements. But I'm going to play you which one? You know what? I'm so excited. I'm just going to... Oh my God, there's just so many about
mission to
Oh my God. Oh, Mama Penny got it. Mama Penny got it. Welcome to the Nerdling Army, Ensign Mama Penny. I hope you get to keep it this time. Yay. Hey, good morning, Ensign Loki. He says, I'm a hater. F that movie. It will bomb. That's pretty much everyone in what? Oh, everyone in politics. I agree. Wholeheartedly, 1000%. If I could tap dance to tell you how much I agree, I would. I completely agree. Ensign Loki, haters can't possibly be telling the truth then? I mean, they had a 50-50 chance. Sure. I mean, and I'm sure the shills at some point are telling the truth. They have a 50-50 chance. A blind squirrel gets a nut every once in a while. 50-50 chance. Just saying. Carl Peachy there. Trustworthy critics like Chris Gore. And that's one of my friends I was talking about. So, hey, I'm a big turd. Thanks for the 99-cent super sticker. Man, that is one of my favorites. I really like that. I really do. So let's see.
No, I've not turned good.
I love her. I do. I love her. Ah! All right. With that said, I think it's time for announcements. All right. I can't help myself. It's the tism. So, anyway, I don't trust a complete hater or shill. I trust the true fan who isn't afraid to say if they like something or not. Exactly. I trust the person who's willing to go against the grain. Someone who's willing to say what their friends are not saying and still say it anyway. Do you know what I mean? Carl Peachy, Michelle Gomez was great as Missy. It's a shame we never got a good doctor. Listen, I think Michelle Gomez would have been a phenomenal Doctor Who. I think it would have been absolutely hilarious if the Doctor would have regenerated into a female Doctor, and that female would have been like Michelle Gomez. It would have been like, what? It would have been so funny. And thank you so much, Scrotum Face, for the 99-cent super sticker, because I get to play this. Because listen, I spent a good chunk of yesterday morning making, I'm going to try and count here because math is hard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I have 15 loaded here. 15 new clips. 15. You will only get to discover all of them through supers. And I will keep making more. A lot of them are Missy's because I kind of went down a rabbit hole. I really love her. Michelle Gomez was just chef's kiss. Anyway, I have a bunch. And I will make more, especially by request. And you'll discover them through supers. So anyway, did I? Oh, hold on. I think I need to load it. Yeah, I'm gonna load it. What? Good morning, Ensign Nandrew, caffeinated wolf. How are you, sir? You boo at me all you want. I still love you. You're still one of my favorite people. One of my favorite comic creators. Arcstream, the speedster with a heart of gold. Do we not love speedsters with heart of gold? So anyway, real quick, I just want to say thank you to Scrotum Face for the 99-cent super sticker with this.
Well, I am that mysterious adventurer in all of time and space, known only as Doctor Who. And these are my disposables, exposition and comic relief.
Well, no functions.
Darling, those are genders.
Look at what we were robbed of. She would have been phenomenal. Will you make a super chat clip of Mark Ruffalo talking about politics if you pay me enough? It won't change my opinion of him, but if that's what you really want, if you pay me enough, if you pay for my suffering, sure. Sure. So there's your first announcement. I now have 16 new clips loaded in for supers and fun stuff and everything, memberships and all. There's more in the folder. So I made quite a few. Like I said, I accidentally went down a bit of a Missy rabbit hole because let's face it, she's iconic. She is. And I plan on making more. And I really do feel like we need a nerdling army, who's what's it's something. Right? So I'll do that too. So there's that. If you want to discover the clips, you know what to do, nerds. Also, and they're not all Missy, I swear. I swear on my life. There are some other fun ones. That reminds me. I didn't load that one. There's another one that's not Missy that I did not load. And I'm disappointed in myself. I'm going to have to put it in here. So anyway, my other announcement that I am very, very excited for is that I have finished another draft, which is very close to the final draft. Like, this one has, it's, being a writer is hard. It's hard to explain because writing a story, whether it's a book, a comic, short story, whatever, it's like taking a lump of clay and then just starting from there. And you just kind of whittle things away, add some here, cut some away here until you form a shape. And, you know, you get like this little oval and you're like, oh, yeah, I can see where that face shape is coming in. And you can see where the eye indentation goes and the nose is poking out, and you get really excited and you show people and you're like, look, it's really coming along. They're like, like they don't quite see the vision, but you do. That's writing. So I'm at the point where you can clearly, it's a face, like it's a full face. There's hair detail. There's fine detail on the eyebrows. There's like skin pores, all that stuff. I mean, it's there. It is there. There's just like, you know, maybe a spot where I accidentally jabbed my fingernail in it, or you know, slipped with the sculpting tool, or, you know, hadn't quite finished adding some pores near the ear back here. That sort of thing. It's like right on the edge. I'm edging it is what I'm edging it. It's right there. So what I've done is I've sent it off to my first wave of beta readers, which means I've sent it off to my sister, my biological sister, and my unbiological twin, Kara. I went to sleep last night to the dulcet tones of robot John Rhys Davies reading it to me. And I listened to it this morning, caught a couple things that I do need to fix. And once I get it back from them as well, I'll do some polishing. Then I'm going to send it off to my second wave, which DL, Deranged Lunatic, is a part of. Very excited for this. This is a story that I am extremely passionate about. Like, I am really, really feeling. I have been just absolutely obsessed, fascinated with all of that with Greek mythology, ancient Greece, since I was 7 years old. I mean, I remember the first Greek mythology book I got. I remember in high school, I didn't sit in the lunchroom with everyone else. I went down to the library with a drink and would just read like the Iliad or something like that because I'm a weirdo. And when I revisited my world of, the Hogans, One Foot in Darkness, last September, when I had the hardware taken out of my knee, it just made sense to me that one, I needed an iceberg. All these years, I didn't have my why and how. Like where did this specifically come from? Like it was kind of floating around vaguely in the back of my head, like kind of tapping, hello. But I needed the iceberg, and this young, kind of spoiled, entitled, rich kid popped into my head. And there's not much I can tell you with how he popped into my head because it would spoil probably the third comic run. Sorry. But he did. And I just started furiously writing in a notebook while I recovered. And when Caro was the first one who suggested, to kind of supplement income and funding for the comic book, she's like, have you thought about publishing short stories on Amazon Kindle? I was like, wait, normies can do that? Like you can just write a short story and plop it on Amazon? She's like, yeah, dude, like you can do that. So that's what I started doing. And I already had most of it mapped out into these notebooks. So for the last few weeks, that is what I've been doing. That's what I did when I was on break. That's what I've been doing on all of my days off after streams. My family has complained, Mom, where are you? Honey, where are you? Can you please be present? We are hungry. Like it was a whole thing. So I am extremely excited to announce that part 1 is like days away from being ready to be published. I mean it, like days, no more than a week and a half away from being published. I've settled on a final cover for part 1. Part 1, the title of the series is The Last Dance of the Hesperides. Subtitle, I love subtitles, I can't help it, it's so much. A Veiled Legacy Tale. And I'm calling part 1 Destined. And I have dedicated it to my daughter, Amelia. Each part of the story, each short story, will come with a page from Midwest Gothic. You're welcome. Each short story will cost about $5. And I hope you like Greek myths. I hope you like vampires. I hope you like magic. Maybe some transfiguration. The first book is all about a rich boy who has been readied his whole life to take over his family business, while at the same time believing, because probably maybe someone started like putting things in his head, that he is destined for something else, blessed by the gods. And then things start happening that he cannot deny. an obsession grows. And that's all I'll say. So I've written about 70 something pages so far. The first short story is just over 13,000 words. And I hope you guys really like it. I've worked really hard on it. I've put my whole butt into it. A lot of passion. And I'm really, really anxious to get it out there. Really, really anxious. So it is the beginnings of the universe, the supernatural universe of Veiled Legacy. So I love how it's all come about. It happened very organically. Things just kind of clicked into place, and I'm just ready for it. Okay, I've just been going and going and going. Okay. I need to give you my big finish log because there's a great Missy and River song audio adventure. Oh, that would be great. That would be great. That would be great. It's like you have to be able to read first. Aren't you funny? Aren't you funny? I know that writing life, I finished a 50-page high fantasy script last week that I'm super jazzed about. Yeah, that's what I'm basically writing right now. Is like high fantasy mixed with, of course I have to have my horror. So just a little bit. All right. Is that all for announcements? Oh, I finally I recorded Big Barda. Went great, I believe. And I shall be editing. And that will be out next week. Very excited. Very excited. Hey, good morning, Omega Gas Wiper. Omega Swiper? I don't know. Omega Swiper. Omega. I like Omega Gas Wiper. Good morning. Welcome. So Big Barda, the breakdown, I'm very, very proud of. I worked very hard on it. I believe it is one of the best breakdowns I've ever done. That will be out there for you guys next week. Of course, it will be available for members first. And then up to a week later, it will be available for the public. And I should have some outtakes and stuff for members. Oh, it itches. And remember, guys, I've got like so many more clips to play for you. What will they be? What could they possibly be? There's so many, and they're funny. All right. I think that's it for our announcements. I'm going to take that down because now it's time for headlines. What is that? Was weird. All right. As we are all aware, Supergirl's not doing well. It's not doing well. Yeah, I was just talking about that, and we're going to talk about it again. I'm probably not going to get to see it until it fully comes out in theaters. So, hola, saludos. How are you? I'm only a quarter Mexican, so that's all the Spanish I know. I mean, I know a little bit more, but I'm only a quarter Mexican, so I've only got like a quarter Spanish in me. I'm going to see The Furious. I'm very excited. I've heard so many amazing things, again, from people I, trust. So anyway, let's pull up the screen. Let's pull up the screen. Ensign or Caffeinated Wolf says, I'll leave a lurk and leave you to it. I'll be seeing Supergirl in IMAX tomorrow night and looking forward to it. I hope you enjoy it. I do. I don't wish, bad times on people. I don't wish people to have crappy times. So anyway, right now it's sitting at a 59% on Rotten Tomatoes. $2 super chat. Thank you, Omari. $2 super chat from Omari. Now, where's my Mark Ruffalo? We need to organize this better. That's why I made the check-in with the chat thing. I need to do better about that. So, future reference, I'm going to organize checking chats better. But $2 is not enough to pay for my suffering. Okay.
Doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills!
Okay. There's so many more clips. All right. We will check in with the chat after headlines. So, 59% on Rotten Tomatoes. As we have discussed many times, Rotten Tomatoes has been caught facilitating people being paid, shills, influencers, certain reviewers being paid by studios through a third party called Bunker 15 to review the way they want to. So, if they did not go this route, or they got paid and they were like, no, this sucks. Like, this is not good. That means a few things. Like, either they didn't pay enough people, or this is from Variety. This is honestly, this does shock me. I would not have guessed that Variety would have given Supergirl a poor review. Genuinely. It says, Supergirl is a super horrendous comic book movie with the worst script I can remember. Read Variety's review from Owen Gleiberman. James Gunn said he wasn't going into production on any movie until the script was rock solid. For that was the overriding problem with the superhero overkill era. The films had lousy scripts, which served as grids for layering visual effects. Gunn was right to want to take the comic book genre back to the basics of well-structured screenwriting. So what has he done in his second DC outing? He's given us a comic book movie with the worst script I can remember. Is this what healing looks like? Is Variety being authentic? Ow. I'm awake. Okay. Moving on. So there's that one. God love verbal. That's the same review. It's the same one. Oh God, that's we're talking about that Friday when the movie comes out. Chris Parker, 3C Films. Chris Parker is an influencer. Chris is a nice guy, okay? But he's an influencer. He gets access. He gets PR boxes. He gets paid, okay? Here's what he said. Supergirl has all the right ingredients to pack a punch. I sadly just didn't feel the impact. Millie Alcock is great as Supergirl. Her backstory is engaging. Momoa's Lobo is a fun highlight. But with a bland villain, generic action, and poor editing, I came out feeling underwhelmed. They're struggling. The influencers are struggling. Chris is trying to give a positive with the negatives. Yeah, she's great. Yeah, Lobo's great. The rest is not great. Grace Randolph. I forgot about this. Grace Randolph didn't like it. She called it unfortunate. I mean, this is... Grace Randolph called it an epic failure on the level of Birds of Prey and Thor Love and Thunder, and dare I say, Snow White. Grace Randolph. Oh, the shame of it. Oh, the shame. Oh, that's gotta hurt. Oh, it's gotta hurt. And did you see David Cornsweat with the cup, the uncircumcised superhero cup? He was like, "Sir, I don't like that. I don't even want to explain it. I don't want to explain to me. I don't like that." It was fantastic. But Chris and Alan went and saw it last night. Let's see if I can pull them up right quick. And then we'll move on to our main topic. No. That's not it. Where are you? My God, you post so much. It's ridiculous. He's on here more than I am. Maybe that's why he's famous and I'm not. No, it's because he's been famous since the 90s. That's okay. So how about we just try Film Threat? There we go. Let's try this. Nope. What about Alan? You can find some Alan? Think we can find Alan? Alan Ing. There you are. My pal Al. He called it profoundly awful. And he said that they did an out of theater reaction. Profoundly awful. This actually makes me sad. This makes me sad. As a lady nerd, someone who has been a lady nerd for, checks watch, almost 46 years. I love lady superheroes because I'm a lady. course I do. Obviously, I'm a girly lady. Look at my hair and makeup, fingernails. I like lady girly things. I like lady superheroes. I love Wonder Woman. I like Supergirl. That is not Supergirl. We're going to talk more about it on Friday, but it's just so disheartening to constantly see them get it wrong over and over and over and over again, every single time. It's just, we don't necessarily like Supergirl and Wonder Woman just because they're girls, and we want to see them be girls and do girl things and be like, I go. No. We like them because they're fucking cool. They're badass. They have great stories, and they're girls. That's what we like. Idiots. Why just ruining our good time constantly? Anyway, it is time.
Check in with the chat. See where the nerdlings are. Hot take, super chat. Let's see what everybody's saying. Check in with the chat. Check in with the chat.
All right, let's see what you guys have to say. Cosmortal Comics, color me shocked. Like, what? Ah, it's what Variety slams Supergirl. Is the world healing? I mean, we may have spoke too soon. I don't know. Please get rid of James Gunn. I kept hearing for months, for almost like a year now, I have heard, not from internet people, okay? Not from randos, not from other YouTubers, stuff like that. I have heard from industry people that it's kind of known that Ellison didn't have plans to keep him. And I know that, what was the thing that I don't post like a whole bunch. So let me see if I can find it. Because I know there's been a post that said that Ellison, here we go. David Ellison has met with James Gunn and Peter Safran ahead of the WB Paramount merger. He's pretty open to what we're doing. He's a big fan. He's been great with us. He's giving us kind of what we want. And what that sounded like to me, because we have no confirmation of this. None. Ellison hasn't said this. Ellison hasn't come out with paperwork, documentation, or anything, any confirmation that says, yes, I'm keeping James Gunn. Yes, we're keeping the DCU completely intact as is, because he loves how much money it's making. He's not come out and said any of that. Nothing. Not a word. We just have some guy who isn't even James Gunn or Peter Safran. He's another director. I don't even think he's a director. He's not even a director. What it sounded like to me was 3 years ago, and I love Zach Levi. I do. I really do. I think he's a wonderful, sweet human being who means well every single time. But 3 years ago, almost 4, when James Gunn took over the DC universe and he was getting rid of Henry Cavill and Gal Gadot, people asked Zach Levi, like, hey, are you worried? Are you still going to be Shazam? Are you worried? And he's like, dude, no. Dude, I go to James Gunn's house for Christmas, you know? Like, I'm not worried at all. I'm there for Christmas parties. Like, I'm good. I'm good. Like, the next day, it was he was gone. Done deal. So I don't put any stock in this. This is hearsay to me. This is secondhand information, probably third, fourth, who knows? It's rumor, it's conjecture, and it sounds to me like someone intentionally spreading a rumor to try and force, the Ellisons into something. But I don't see the Ellisons holding on to someone who is not consistently making money. Superman did not make money. Supergirl is not looking like it's going to make money so far. So, if they are consistently not getting a return on investment, not going to look good. I had a better Supergirl. It involved Flash. Ugh, and I hate CW like so much. Powerful fire. Carl PG. It's just proof this movie shouldn't be made, and he just should have done a solo Batman or Wonder Woman movie. Focus on the Trinity first, then do the rest of the Justice League characters. Exactly. It's a pyramid. Start with your foundation, work your way up. Sorta. I don't know if that analogy works, actually. So, anyway. Omega says, Lobo movie will rock. I have no doubt in my mind that Jason Momoa is a phenomenal Lobo. No doubt in my mind. Chris did say that there was just a lot of fill light. So, but I have no doubt in my mind. They should have just, if this is what they were going for, they should have just done a Lobo movie. Maybe, honestly, they should have just done a Lobo movie. I mean, a lot. I've been saying, I can see a lot of people just going. Like, I know Mama Penny is going to watch it just to see Jason Momoa as Lobo. So, Ensign Deranged Lunatic. Grace Randolph is going to lose her prostitution card if she's not careful. That's so funny. Hey, it's contributing editor Keto Reviews. Da-da-da. Hail to the chat. Sorry I'm late. It happens. We're having fun. Cosmortal. He and Lex actor were both laughing as they looked at the cup. All men saw one thing. Let's be honest. All people who have seen a penis saw one thing. Okay? Like, everybody. I showed my husband, he was like, why did they make that? Like, did that go through an approval process? I said, yeah, it did. It's like, what is it? I said, that's the uncircumcised Supergirl cup. Well, go buy my book. Thanks. Appreciate you. Yeah, DCU is DOA. It didn't have a chance to crawl, just bad decisions. It's unfortunate. It is unfortunate. It's just Ensign Loki. Maybe Ellison loves losing money, though. It happened with Disney. I don't see that with Ellison. I mean, I could be wrong. It's happened once or twice. But they really don't want him to own this. Omari's best friend, Mark Ruffalo, and all of his best friends really don't want the Ellisons to own Warner Brothers. They have been fighting it so hard. So that tells me he's a bit of an outsider. That could be really good. The gun jammed. You know, Verbal Riot and I have talked about this, that sorry, something fell in my eye. I was a huge supporter of James Gunn. Huge. We're both from the same city, both from St. Louis. I think he's a great filmmaker. I love the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, especially Volume 3. Ugh. I love the Suicide Squad. I love Brightburn. He's got some great films. He really does. But Chris Gore said when he came out of Supergirl that it's a superhero movie that feels like it was written by someone who has never written a superhero movie before, let alone seen a superhero movie before. Like, well, yeah, it was written by Ana Nogueira, who's never written a script for a film before. And she's writing Wonder Woman and Teen Titans. So many concerns. So many concerns. I love Farscape, dude. You have no idea. I love Farscape so much. I love the Suicide Squad, but man, he was way not the guy for the job. That is a conflicting sentence you just said. Anyway, let's move on to our main topic of the day. So, of course, that's it for headlines. He says screenplays are so hard to write. Gunn still doesn't have a Batman one done. You know what's funny? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think screenplays are that hard. Screenplays, they're instruction manuals. Screenplays are instruction manuals for the various departments. For your actors, directors, makeup, production design, you know. They're basically stories as an instruction manual. They're easier to write than prose. Prose are novels, short stories, stuff like that. I mean, prose are fun because you get to use I like flowery language. And I know John Gardner is like, stop using that shit. It's, but I still like it. It's still pretty. But I think screenplays, screenwriting is, it doesn't take as long as writing a frickin' novel. It's ridiculous. I finished the rewrite. I did a total rewrite, like start to finish, virtually, on Midwest Gothic, 42 page script for my comic in a couple of days. Granted, that's a comic book, 42 pages, but still, what's the fucking holdup? What is your problem? Like, if you're putting too many constraints on yourself and you have all these stupid ass rules and things that you have to check off, like all those boxes and shit, that's what makes it so hard. Because you have to find ways to try and work it in, work around it. It stifles that creative process. It creates roadblocks, from my experience. And it's obvious. It is very obvious to the audience. It's not organic. It's forced. It's boring. So, as someone who's proofread and edited too many different scripts, I can say it's pretty tough. You really liked mine. Cosmortal says, I think if you are a regular book reader, it would be a lot easier to write a full script rather than someone who isn't. Okay. Let's quit farting around. I brought props. All right. So, they get hairspray on it. Okay. So, I have to reapply. As I spoke earlier, I have to prepare. Let me. And remember, I've got like still maybe like 16, 17 more clips for supers loaded and ready to go. Up to you. And while I'm editing today, I'm going to probably put together some more and make something for the Nerdling Army. Maybe something for announcements and main topic. You know, something to zhuzh the place up a bit. What is wrong with me? I'm a lady. Whoa, 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 I'm a lady. Sorry. I love Tom Jones. What a voice. Anyway, as I said, I've been very much in my writing bubble. And I just like exited last night around 9. So when I say like in my writing bubble, I mean, you know, I'm not paying attention to my phone. I'm not reading a bunch of stuff online or, you know, social media or whatever. I'm kind of, you know, out of it. But something jumped out at me. And I had to, like, during my lunch break, because I do, something jumped out at me a couple days ago during my lunch break. And I kind of did a triple take, like, what? What is happening? Why? So, IDW editor, not writer, not creator, editor, and I believe she's still in her 30s, like 38, 39. Maybe she's hit 40, not sure. Heather Antos had posted on Blue Sky, where nobody is. I have a Blue Sky account, and I never post on it because I get zero traction. None. Nobody's there. Anyway, posted on Blue Sky because she saw that legendary comic writer and artist, John Byrne. Look, I'm a nerd lady. So of course, sorry, is that better? There. Of course, I have a John Byrne Sensational She-Hulk #1. This is I love this thing. And she has hung behind me on the wall in the studio for years. I love this. I love John Byrne. I have more John Byrne stuff. It's just packed in a long box over there. And pay no attention to the jiggle you just probably paid attention to. I have lost 75 pounds. Thank you very much. And so I'm working on the firming, right? So grace. Anyway, he most definitely made She-Hulk funny, cool, and sexy. He's the one who figured out that if the Hulk was the duality of man, the struggle between letting out that rage you feel that you probably shouldn't let out, at inappropriate times. And, the need to be responsible and what have you. He figured out that there is a duality of woman as well. We're caretakers, we're nurturers, we're responsible for other people, but we want to be sexy. We want to be hot. We want to have fun. Okay. Our monster is a party monster. And that's exactly what She-Hulk became. That's what he made her as. He made her the blur. He made her this true duality of woman. That came from John Byrne and nowhere else. John Byrne did that. Okay. She really is a very cool character. And funny. Like, if you don't buy this book, I'm going to come to your house and rip up all your X-Men comics. I love her. So, anyway, John Byrne is essential in making comics what they are today. He was there at the beginning with X-Men, with Chris Claremont. He made the Fantastic Four what they are today. He's the one who changed Sue Storm from Invisible Girl to Invisible Woman. Come on, the brown and yellow. Whoa. Shut your face. Hold on. Let's see. The brown and yellow John Byrne Wolverine. Look at that. Classic, iconic. This man is an absolute legend. Alpha Flight. John Byrne is responsible for creating the first homosexual superhero, North Star. There's your preface. Okay? There's your preface. And that's not even the tip of the iceberg. That's like a snowflake. That's a snowflake of John Byrne's contribution to comic book history. He's in his 70s now. And my favorite thing about him is that he absolutely is a crotchety ass old man. He's an a-hole. That's fine. What'd he say recently? He's like, no, I'll take a paycheck. I'm not Alan Moore. It's so funny. He's so funny. But he is an actual true genius, true creative genius. And we would not be here talking about comics. I would not be a comic writer. I would not be creating comics in love with them as I am today without John Byrne. Absolutely not. Look at the pink and the green. Like this is how you write. Oh my God, that blur is going to kill me. This is how you write a female superhero character. Because we've got the pink, we've got the green, we've got the femininity, but we've also got the badass and the action. We've got all of it rolled up into one. Love it. Love, love, love it. Perfect. Perfect. However, you know, he stepped away. He got fired. Got fired because, you know, had trouble getting along with people because he is who he is. But for many years now, a few years now, for free in his own time, he has been working on a new X-Men book, and not just any X-Men book, an X-Men book that actually takes place in a universe. How do I explain this? In a universe that exists or would have existed if he never would have gotten fired in 1984. If he still wrote X-Men comics past 1984. Like if he kept doing this. So don't fall. That'll upset me. So it takes place in that universe, but in our present time. And it's called Elsewhen. X-Men Elsewhen. And it's coming out like in 6 days. So Heather Antos finds out She finds out and she decides to post about it on her biggest platform, which apparently is Blue Sky. I really want to buy this book. It's here. I have the link. If you want this book, the link is in the description below. In fact, I'm going to drop it in the chat. I really want this book. I really do. However, I'm trying to fund my own comic book, which I really wish you guys would check that out too. Mine is cheaper. It's cheaper. So I'm going to drop this in the chat really quick. Here is a link to John Byrne's newest X-Men comic, which he has done on his own. It's practically an indie. Practically an indie comic. But there's the link. It's $37 in the description, pinned it in the chat. But also the link for my book is in the description below as well. And on the ticker right there, you can get a digital copy for as little as $10 and you'll get it as soon as it's done. So it's a pre-order. There you go. Anyway, old Heather, who again is an editor for IDW Comics. Please remember that. That is important. She's an editor for IDW Comics. So vital. She shares the link for the book. Shares the link. Like I am. And says, because the link says, after 4 decades away, John Byrne is rewriting X-Men history on his own terms. An extended preview of John Byrne's X-Men Elsewhen, a pre-release which is already sold out and is going back for a second printing. She shares it and says, during Pride Month, really, Marvel? Do not buy this comic. People are asking her why she's saying this, why she's telling people, just out of curiosity, why shouldn't I buy this comic? She says John Byrne is a transphobe and has been spewing transphobic ideology for decades. Him writing the X-Men, known for being specifically iconic characters to the LGBTQ plus community, and rewriting them in his own Elseworlds universe and releasing it during Pride is especially infuriating. Let's talk about that. When the X-Men came out in 1968, correct me if I'm wrong, was it 1968 or 1963? When they came out, they were a group of people who reported to an FBI agent. 1963. They reported to an FBI agent, and they were specifically not gay. That is something that is a recent addition to the comics in terms of the grand scheme of the X-Men's history. Again, John Byrne is the creator of North Star, the first homosexual character. Yeah. Stan Lee, Jack Kirby created this team. They were mutants, they were outsiders, just people who looked different. As time went by, when Chris Claremont and John Byrne together started working on the books, it became more of an allegory for racism, for race, and then disability. And then many, many, many years later, after North Star was introduced in Marvel Comics, thanks to John Byrne, who also began introducing lesbian characters as well, then it became this kind of encompassing thing, this to represent people that are, just outsiders in general. Like, why? This person's like, he absolutely was not the main writer. He was a penciler with Chris goddamn Claremont. He did not try to coo Chris out. He did try to coo Chris out of it and got the Fantastic Four out of it. That is true. They worked on it together. Chris Claremont is a phenomenal writer, and I absolutely love him. All John Byrne did was ask questions. He asked questions. That's what he did. He didn't go around spewing anything. He asked questions, and it turned into this. Okay. Heather Antos is wrong about everything she has said. John Byrne, what she's referencing happened like 10 years ago also. By the way, it happened like 10 something years ago. On top of it, John Byrne has said several times, many years ago, we need homosexual people in comics, African American people, Asian people, disabled people. We need these people in comics. Why? We need them in fictional worlds because they exist in the real world. So it would be ridiculous for them not to exist in a fictional world. It was an extremely logical take. Extremely logical. So the person who said that, now Heather Antos is saying, don't buy his book. He's a phobe. So the hilarious part is the book sold out. Like, all she did was bring attention to it. She brought attention to it, and the book sold out. Like, you can get it now on Amazon. That's what the link is for. But I mean, that's all. I mean, so then she turns around after this. Cool people now send voice memos as harassment. Thanks so much, Zuckerberg. She's so dumb. Stop saying wrong thing. Like, stop lying. She's lying, telling actual lies, or at least not checking herself, and trying hilariously to just destroy or steal the career of one of the most influential comic creators in the history of comics. You cannot convince me that she didn't have some kind of ulterior motive there, that there's not some kind of personal agenda in it for Heather Antos. So she goes on to say, Epstein's friends versus, oh, shut up. She is just the absolute worst. People came after her. She got mogged. People were like, you are wrong. You are wrong. John Byrne is a legend. He's an incredible writer and artist. He's not a transphobe. He created the first gay character. Like, you are out of your mind. So she got mocked. Then she comes back and says, you can be mad at me for what I said all you want. I was policing no one. Everyone is allowed to spend their money how they want. If you want to spend it supporting a man who has used his platform to be vocally transphobic against other things, that's your right, and you have to live with that. She's literally policing people. She was literally attempting to police people. She said, do not buy this comic. It's Pride Month. Do not buy this comic. And then doubles down and says, if you want to spend it supporting a man who used his platform to be vocally transphobic, amongst other things, that's your right, and you have to live with that. That's policing. We're not buying it. Stop it. This is a history. This is a history with her. She's done this many times. She basically was the coffee girl over at Marvel, the Star Wars area, Dr. Aphra comics and the like. And apparently that gives her, like, I'm Heather Antos. And what she does is spends her time attacking other creatives. This is a very catty woman behavior thing. Rather than work hard, put in the time, the patience, and the effort and energy to build yourself and your career up, climb that ladder yourself, you just yank people down so that you look like you're higher up than what you are. Women like Heather Antos make it much more difficult in comics and media for women like me. And I take that personally. I take that very personally. It's offensive. What's worse about this entire situation is that John Byrne writes Star Trek comics. Do you know who publishes the Star Trek comics? Why, it's IDW, of course. And do you know under whose purview the editing for Star Trek comics are under? In IDW? Heather Antos. So here she is telling people not to buy this new X-Men Elsewhen comic by John Byrne, not to buy John Byrne's new X-Men comic. But she's got nothing to say about his IDW comics where she works. So on top of her being a liar, she's a hypocrite too. She's a liar. She's a hypocrite. And just catty. She has not worked enough in this industry. She has not lived long enough on this planet to have the sack that she claims to have, that her mouth is telling people that she has. Her behavior is shockingly offensive, and she needs to be fired. I don't normally condone calling for someone's firing, for them to lose their job and their livelihood, but this is a pattern with Heather, and she is weaponizing her platform to steal someone else's livelihood, to steal someone else's legacy for her personal opinions. Is that the kind of face that IDW wants to put out there? You have one employee directly attacking another employee publicly? Not a good look, IDW. Not a good look. Not a good look, Heather. And now you have thousands of people buying John Byrne's book and telling you how incredibly stupid you are. I don't think anyone's going to be buying your work anytime soon, Heather. Such a shame. Such a shame. But you've made IDW look really fucking bad. And as much as I love Star Trek and Doctor Who, I don't think I will be spending any money with IDW in the foreseeable future. Not as long as they employ lying, hypocritical, petty, petulant little harpies like you that have made my career virtually impossible. All right. Is that no? It's just a
Check in with the chat.
All right, let's see what you guys have to say. I'm scrolling and I'm scrolling and I'm scrolling. Ooh, you guys had a lot to say. It's not unusual to be loved by anyone. Can you do Tom Jones as much as Carlton? Kind of. I'm in a chair. How have ideas hit you? The best way for writing, I'm assuming, right in between consciousness and sleep. I just kind of relax and just let my mind drift. I don't, control it. I just kind of let it go. And it's worked really well, like every single time. I've had some great dreams. I have some crazy, crazy dreams. But that in between space, that liminal space between sleep and waking. Great advice. I was given great advice on that from Bo DeMaio, actually. He's a genius. He's an absolute genius. And it works. It really does. I was absolutely in the zone, man. See? Yep, absolutely. Blue Sky, there's, X's. I'm on every platform, okay? And X is by far the one I get the most traffic, so. My boy Byrne. Please tell Jessica Gao that She-Hulk is not Deadpool. She's trying to make a name for herself in all the wrong and usual ways people like her do. Attack an icon with BS and get clout on social media when you should just make a name with yourself through work. Hard work. Be yourself. And it's really hard because, listen, I'm an obnoxious, weird person. I'm needy. But it's hard because there's a lot of expectations, and I'm gonna say the thing. I'm gonna say it. It is a bit difficult for ladies with being on camera and stuff because you do have to look nice. You gotta comb your hair, put some makeups on. It helps to be attractive. All right. I'm not going to lie. I'm not saying that I am, but it does help being a woman on camera and looking attractive. People tend to listen to the words that you're saying more. I mean, helps men too, but men don't have to wear like fake eyelashes and lip gloss and draw your eyebrows on. You know what I'm saying? Okay. You don't have to do that. So I'm talking about the jiggle. I'm not putting that out there. She-Hulk is a cool character. That show really did a number on his character. A lot of her behavior was very She-Hulk, but the show was a mess. That was poorly structured. Virtually no action. Like, she was just kind of a, well, you know what I'm saying? It's just dumb. Dumb. Does Daredevil ever get with She-Hulk in the comics? I mean, I think so. Wait. She bangs Tony. Like she bangs like a lot of people. She bangs a lot. She likes a little mattress dancing. She likes to bone. Yeah, I love the John Byrne Wolverine. It shows that you need a genius like Byrne steering the ship. That's the thing about with him being an a-hole. That's the thing about geniuses. There's usually a quirk or an eccentricity. They're very passionate about what they do. There's going to be some sort of pushback or something they are going to fight you on. And they're going to do it in a way that's going to grate everyone else around them because they will stand their ground. There's going to be something about them that's going to bother other people. And everyone else is going to have to ask the question, is his level of talent, is his level of genius worth the level of asshole quirk? And sometimes Marvel was like, nope. He's a legend, and she is attacking a legend to get clout and probably jealousy because she will never be as legendary as him because of laziness. And she's really, what has she done? I mean, honestly, you will have to Google it because you cannot name off the top of your head one thing Heather Antos has actually done other than social media stuff. Getting YouTubers and fellow comic writers banned from platforms and conventions because she doesn't like their personal opinions. This is a correct statement. This is factual. This is factual. Byrne, thanks for the work you contributed. Exactly. We shouldn't be surprised. Heather Thick Ankles is bitching about a real comic book creator. He also did Ego, right? I believe. Yes, I think you're correct. I believe you are correct. He got fired because he wanted excellence, not mediocrity. That's that thing. Standing his ground. More as an asshole, but some cases, some of the films based on his work, like Leave Extraordinary Gentlemen and The Watchmen show, have been shit. I like Leave Extraordinary Gentlemen, but The Watchmen show was crap. Yeah, didn't care for Doomsday Clock. It was like, buy the book. Yep, buy the book. Yeah. Heather Anal Breather. What? How can he sell his comic? Isn't there copyright issues? There's got to be an agreement. Marvel is not going to just be like, oh, so John Byrne's making an X-Men comic. It's fine. No, there's an agreement somewhere. There has to be. No mercy, fire her. I'm going to buy it even harder. No one cares about Pride Month. Why should people celebrate? This is something that I really feel needs to be discussed openly. What Pride really is started off as was about how the first march, the first civil rights for gay individuals in the 70s resulted in someone being murdered, being stoned to death. And so every year on the anniversary of that, okay, I turned that slide to stop. I've done it and it's still doing it. There we go. So every year on the day of that anniversary, they would honor that. They would honor that person's death, that person that was stoned to death for just, marching for civil rights. Okay? What it has turned into today is people marching in Speedos, or in some cases, completely nude or covered in rainbow colored dicks. They take children to this stuff. If we are telling small children of all ages, if someone comes up to you naked, or if someone comes up to you and tells you they want to see you naked, or they try to touch your no-no square, your private place, we call it their privates. If someone tries that, you get an adult. That is danger, danger, danger. You get an authority figure immediately. That is not safe. If we're telling children that, but then we take them to these parades where people are naked, simulating these sex acts and covering themselves in phalluses, and again, naked, what message does that send them? That is confusing. It is confusing to them. Pride was never about sex. It was about persecution. It was about someone who died just marching civilly. It's about the Stonewall riots. These people marched. This person was killed. And so every year they wanted to honor that. I'm all about people being who they are. I know what it's like to feel like you've been born in the wrong body, that God somehow made a mistake. Trust and believe that. I wake up every single fucking day in a body racked with pain. I can't walk. I can't go to the bathroom until I go through this complicated process to put on a limb so that I can go. And then I have to go through this thing every freaking few years. I just lost a bunch of weight. I got to do this all over again. This huge, expensive trip, ridiculously complicated process, all these hoops I have to go through. It is easier. It is actually, I know this sounds hyperbolic, but I'm not exaggerating. It is easier for me to get reassignment surgery, gender reaffirming care, than it is for me to get a new prosthetic leg. I'm not kidding. I have to live with this. And it's not just my amputee status. My entire skeleton is too small for my body. There are parts of my disability that are visibly noticeable. I have been stared at my whole life. There are certain shoes I can't wear. I have to go through an entire rigmarole thing. I have sat in my closet crying, hysterical, falling to pieces. I'm almost 50 years old and I still just lose my shit because I want to be a woman. I want to wear these pretty high heels. I want to wear skirts. I want to be pretty. I want to dress up. I want to wear these things. But my body does not look like the average expected, depiction of a woman, normal woman body. And every day that thought is there, whether it's in the forefront or in the back of my mind, that thought is there. I don't feel mentally like a disabled woman. I've been born in the wrong body. I should have been Like, dude, I'm like 4'8", 4'9". I have the form of dwarfism. But that thinking of I'm actually able-bodied in a disabled body, that thinking destroyed my body faster. I had to retire. I'm a cosmetologist. And I owned a salon. I had to close my salon and retire 4 years ago because I had accelerated the deterioration of my skeletal system, operating on the belief that I was born in the wrong body. It is a daily struggle. I have to live with that. I know what that feels like. I understand that. What I don't understand is the obsession with who people fuck. It is nobody's business. I was raised that what people do in their bedrooms behind closed doors is none of my business. None. You want to introduce me to your partner, who you love? Wonderful. That's fantastic. I can't wait to meet them. This person makes you happy. I'm so blessed to meet this person that makes you so happy and complete and fulfilled. That's wonderful. But to sit around and obsess and discuss who is sleeping with who they like to sleep with, what their kinks are, is abhorrent. Being gay is not abhorrent. Being trans, not really abhorrent. What is abhorrent is constantly discussing it publicly like it's everyone's business. It's not. Putting it in front of people's faces, your special purpose, your veg in 2 bits, all of it. That is for you. That is for your partner, your spouse, whomever. It is not for strangers. It is not for children. Obsessing about the sex lives of anyone who is not you and the person you are sleeping with is mental illness. Especially obsessing about the sex lives of fictional characters. That one really, really blows my mind. Like, really, why do you care? Again, maybe it's just how I was raised, that is not your business. It is a private matter. It goes on in someone else's bedroom. Who fucking cares? Who cares? But if we say that's not a priority for me, one way or the other, I base my opinions on people, on their personalities, their character, how they treat people, what TV shows they watch, what movies they like, what shoes they wear. I'm kidding. No, not a bit on who they bang. Then somehow that makes you a phobe. or a bigot. Reconcile that for me. Blows my mind. Absolutely blows my mind. I was raised in the 80s and 90s, a very visibly different young girl. Very physically disabled, oftentimes in a wheelchair or crutches with the big thing on my leg before I had it cut off, ethnically ambiguous. I was made fun of a lot. Very tiny, bobblehead. I know discrimination. I have dealt with discrimination. And people saying, I have questions. Or, I mean, certain questions are, but what she did, what Heather Antos is doing, is discrimination. People choosing not to celebrate a parade that is entirely about kink is not discrimination. These parades, not only do you have people nude or in butt floss, simulating sex acts, sometimes actually committing sex acts, covered in dicks or vaginas, vulvas. You've got the weird lifestyle. They call it lifestyle, but it's most definitely, the kinks. You've got the people who like to be treated like dogs, the puppy masks, the puppy parade. You've got the people who think they're horses. You've got the ABs, the adult babies. It just goes from there. It's so far beyond what the Pride Parade was originally about. And Heather Antos is a straight, white lady, yet again, here to save the day and cancel a legend by demanding everyone talk about who's screwing who. Sorry. It gets me so bad. They were co-opted and perverted by recently. Bobby was always a ladies' man. Logan and Scott were not secretly in love with each other. Oh, it's so gross. I don't think gay does anybody any service. They made Doctor Who gay, killed the show. See, that was Russell T. Davies and his writing and his agenda. It was entirely, I think even if they had a straight doctor in that final season and they gave him, a new love interest and they were heavy-handed with it, and the writing was just as bad, it would have been equally as horrible, because to me, the doctor is basically sexless. The Doctor Who has never been about romance. He had River Song. He had his wife. And that was sporadic. You had tiny little samplings of it. Nothing else. Any other time, it was always one-sided. It was always some chick, like coming in like really head over heels for the doctor. I had a crush for him, and it was just awkward because he was like, no, sorry. The doctor is very much not a romantic interest for River Song, who's, pops in every once in a while to satisfy that little itch for 10 seconds, and then she's gone. But they focused on who the doctor bangs for the entire time. They had Ncuti Gatwa as the doctor. They made that the focus, and that's not the doctor. That steered away from the character and the show, what it had been for these last 60-something years. I feel, as a Doctor Who fan and someone who's hopefully a tiny bit media literate, that it was entirely some weird fan fiction / fiction of Russell T Davies. It was all self-insert. Like, what if I was Doctor Who? I was a lovely poof Doctor Who, and I just went around and snogged lovely boys all over space and time. Wouldn't that be smashing? Wouldn't that be brilliant? I think it would be aces. That's what I think. I'm just saying. Cosmortal, John tried to be inclusive. Now his own people are turning on him. They always end up eating their own because they do not seem to understand that where tolerance ends is at intolerance. The moment you become intolerant of anything, you're no longer tolerant. She's not figuring that out. She's not figuring that out. Oh, yes. And backing Danny's book. That's an excellent idea. I like the sound of that. This entire story makes me feel great about why I stopped reading Marvel. The big two, Marvel and DC, have been garbage for the last 15 years, except for the Absolute Universe. I'm really digging that. I like reading. I've been reading Absolute Wonder Woman, and I like it. But other than that, the last 15 years, major publishing comics like DC and Marvel have not been great. Indie comics will save comics. It's the only way you can save comics. Also, call back to Kino's comment, back Danny's book. Thank you very much. Ooh, I gotta pee. All she had to say is, if you want a classic X-Men experience, buy the book. And if you're a fan of the new books, feel free to check out John's book. That's all she had to do. And say, it's not that hard. She doesn't know how. She doesn't know how. I stopped buying the IDW Sonic comics over this kind of stuff. Lieutenant. She bangs Hulk too. Good afternoon. Real serious. Sweet home Alabama. Amen to women looking attractive. Hola, Travis. There's a special place in hell for those people. Can barely talk. I'm surprised the voice to text is working for me. Oh no. Oh, thank you. I am. Well, and honestly, and people will ask me that, and I used to get really, really annoyed. Sometimes I still do. People would ask, like, how do you do it? How do you keep going? Like, how have you done it all this time? Like, well, what are my options? Like, what are the choices here? Like, is it either, keep going and live the life that I do have. You try to make the best of it, enjoy the life that I have, turn that into super fun, badass comics, take my anger out and rip body parts off in comics. Or just sit there and slowly let myself die. I have 4 kids. My oldest is 26. So for the last almost 30 years, if I did not persevere, they did not. I had no choice. There was no choice. Cosmortal, I have medical issues as well. I don't sit and expect everyone to celebrate me for an entire month. There is a Disability Awareness Month, and it's in July, I believe. Or is it April? See, we don't give a shit. We don't even know what month it is. Or is it March? I don't know. It's like, it's not in the winter or fall. What doesn't kill you, baby girl, only makes you stronger and meaner. So much meaner. Like a lot meaner. Closed doors, closed doors, closed doors. Leave kids alone. Said Russell T. Davies made the mistake in the first run when the Doctor was romantic to Rose. Yeah, that was weird. Everyone thought so. Super weird. That's super weird. But guys, that's all I've really got for you today. Did anyone go in back Midwest Gothic? Did anyone going back Midwest Gothic? You should go do that. Go do it. You should go back Midwest Gothic. It's a great way to support the real comics industry. We're the only ones out there writing real stories, putting story before ideology and agenda or anything else. We're not box checking. We are writing the stories that pop into our heads. We're writing the things that we would love to read. We're writing it out of pure love and enjoyment. We're writing it because we feel the urge to do it, not because some executive came in and said, we need a comic book that features, an amputee of color that likes to lick faces. And that's just where my brain went for a second. But anyway, you get my drift, okay? Indie comics are where it's at. And I have a fantastic indie comic. I promise you. I do. I'll show you some art. If I can get it pulled up. Marketing. That's invoices. Sorry. We've gone really long. We really have. Okay. Okay. There you are. Hello. Hello. That's just kind of a placeholder graphic. Veiled Legacy Midwest Gothic. That is me. Vampires, Greek mythology, James Bond gadgetry. Need I say more? I mean, I kind of do, I guess. So a rural Midwestern family, their act of kindness turns into a supernatural home invasion, leaving Emma Hogan to survive the night alone, while her twin brother Jimmy has to race against the clock, trying to save his family from forces unknown before they are lost forever. Amish vampires. You're trapped in a house and your brother starts feeling everything that you're feeling. Telling you, it's good stuff. And you can find it over on Fund My Comic. The artwork is done by Rippaverse artist Evan Scale. It was created and written by me and edited by Rippaverse writer Caro Brown. So there you have it. I love it very much. It is March. Okay, I was getting there. But I'm also putting out a series of short stories set in universe to the comics called The Last Dance of the Hesperides, but it's set 2,500 years before the comics in Piraeus, Greece. And that one's pretty great too. And that one those should be coming out soon. They will come with a special bonus page from Midwest Gothic, and they're only going to be $5 a piece. Each story, $5 a piece. You're welcome. You're welcome. It's going to introduce you to my universe. You'll learn about the origins of, magic, vampires, and hunters. Listen, I really love Jenna Coleman. I know Rose is supposed to be my favorite. Amelia Pond, I'm rather fond of because I have a daughter named Amelia. But I do love Jenna Coleman. And thank you very much. Thank you. And hello, Jenny. I like the Dr. David Tennant with Rose better than with River. I think you've told me this before. I'll allow it. I'm really excited for the short stories. I am too. I'm very excited. Eek! But keep your eyes peeled for those. They will be coming out in the next week and a half. Sorry, try to scoot forward so I can reach. You can help support the channel by hitting the like button, hitting that subscribe button if you haven't already, and ringing the notification bell. So hopefully YouTube will let you know when I am back with more of this crazy chaos. You can also support the channel in other ways by checking out that QR code up there. It takes you to buymeacoffee.com/comicsandmua, and you can tip me as little or as much as you like. It goes a long way to helping me keep the lights literally on here, paying for software, and even, just giving my money to Evan Scale so I can keep paying for comic pages and lettering. There's also Cash App where you can do the same. And the official comics and merch store is now no longer just on comicsandcosmetics.etsy.com. It is right here on the YouTube app. All you have to do is go to the homepage, scroll all the way over until you see store, and you can get yourself your own comics and hoodie or comics and coffee mug. One of my personal favorites. I've got some great mugs, and they're all designed by me. All of it. And I've got some new stuff that's going to be coming out because we have the new logo with the crown. And I have some ideas for some other things. If you want Veiled Legacy merch, there's only one place in the world on the internet where you can get it. And that is at patreon.com/comicsand. And it's also the only place where you can get exclusive behind the scenes access to the entire Veiled Legacy building experience. It's there that I upload all of the thumbnails, rough sketches, edits, even early versions of scripts right there on patreon.com/comicsand. 4 different tiers starting as little as $3 a month. And every Friday, I do my best if I'm not on hiatus, I will upload a vlog talking to you directly, telling you exactly what is going on in my world of writing, what I'm working on, where we're at, what's coming next, how far out we are, what I'm doing with the money that you guys are investing into the project. And as I said, it's exclusively the only place you can get actual Veiled Legacy merch, which I will be updating probably this afternoon. You get that every 3 months for the first year of your membership on the Patreon, which we call the Brotherhood. And if you join the Patreon, you'll find out why it's called the Brotherhood. So check that out. Yay. Ooh, and you can now buy Ripaverse comics from my Amazon storefront. That's right. Ripaverse Comics, thanks to their deal with the distributor Hachette US, now have Ripaverse Comics through Amazon, and I have them all on my Amazon storefront. All you have to do is go to this link, check out the description below. Boom. There's a list right there. Ripaverse Comics. Check it out. I've even got the new John Byrne X-Men Elsewhen comic in my list named Recommended Reads. So I have several lists on my Amazon storefront. Check all of them out. If you're a lady, I have some great skincare and cosmetics and hair stuff. But guys, recommended reads, fun, nerdy stuff, and Ripaverse Comics. There's even one for special effects and podcasting. But the Ripaverse recommended reads, ooh, there's even favorite series, listen, just go. Go to my Amazon storefront. You're welcome. This podcast is powered by the Red 5 Network. We are a collective of exclusively nerdy podcasters and content creators here to educate and entertain you. So if you like this podcast, chances are you are going to love what the rest of the Red 5 Network has to offer you. So go to red5.bio.link today to discover more of what the Red 5 family of podcasts has in store. Everything I have told you about may or may not be on the comics-and.com website. It needs updated. I am one person. Okay. Well, actually, I am like 91% of a person. I'm doing my best. All right. I have a lot to keep up with, and I've added more to my plate. So the website has been like the last thing. I need to update it. I'm doing my best. I'm going to put that on the calendar. So, but my links and stuff are definitely on the website. That I can assure you. So go to comics-and.com today to learn a little bit more about me, more about the channel, about the comic. And if you just want to reach out and say, hey, what's up? Love what you're doing. Or, you're kind of down. I mean, if you feel like, you really need to get that off your chest, I mean, say what you need to say. I prefer you didn't. I prefer it was nice things, but First Amendment and all that, sure. You could do that at comics-and.com. So there you have that. Okay. So that's all I got for you guys today. I've had a great time. You guys have been awesome. I've been Danny, and you've been you. Okay. Make sure you check under your bed tonight, and don't forget, support indie comics. Do not forget to go check out Midwest Gothic, Veiled Legacy, Midwest Gothic, over on Fund My Comic. And I will see you tomorrow for Plot Holes and Payoffs. Caro and I are talking Vampire Hunter D, which has been a big inspiration. So take care, guys. I'll see you later. Peace.
Disney and Kathleen Kennedy are gonna get you!